Everyone, and welcome to the BGCS show. My name is Dwarf, and joining me today is GCI, Knasig, and Fatigal. How are we doing today, guys?
I'm doing exceptional. What about yourself?
I'm doing
Oh, I'm very
good.
good.
I'm doing good, thanks. How are
Yeah,
you?
same here. Also good. Just chilling here. Ready to do a amazing podcast with you guys.
Oh yeah, joining us for the first time is Knasig, of course, coming in for a
Yes,
few casts this
sir.
week, and I'm excited to have new members of the staff team, especially in
go.
the casting team. Unfortunately, Kieran couldn't make it, and Maisie couldn't make it, but we've got 4 people, double the amount that we had last week. Absolutely love it. And we've got an entertaining show up for you today. And I believe we may as well get on with it, to be honest. I don't see any reason to wait.
True.
If we do start off with a recap of what happened last week. Now, all of these games, I mean, we had some absolute crackers that went on last week. We've got a few 3-2s in there, mostly sort of 3-1s, which is strange. We usually either go all 3-0s or all 3-2s. 3-1s this week, and starting us off is Resurrection versus Fearless 5.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a good game. Resurrection just completely playing like really good that game. I remember that Fearless 5 wasn't playing at their best, not the best consistency. That was one thing I remember talking about. Was Fearless 5 consistency. They were really hitting their shots. They were whiffing a lot. And Resurrection, they're the type of team to punish them for their mistakes, and that's what they did. And that's why the score was 3-1 to Resurrection. Yeah, I mean, Resurrection just played exceptionally well, and Fearless 5, didn't play so good. But I mean, Resurrection is a good team. There's not much you can do against them.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up Resurrection versus Fearless 5. I feel like that's a match that got away from Fearless 5. Moving on to Miracle versus Team Lotus, a match that's very recent in my memory, and also for Knasig. It was a 3-0. I think this is exactly how we were all expecting it to go. Knasig, the freestyler, the Swedish freestyler.
You already know.
This is, especially with Lotus bringing Duffer in instead of Eclipse. I always thought it was going to go for Team Miracle. It was a complete. Well, as the series went on, it got less and less of a stomping, but it was never in doubt that Miracle weren't going to take this. Yeah, it was just simple pickings for Team Miracle. Moving on to the next one, we've got Corinthians versus the Unseen.
Yes.
So yeah.
No.
Oh,
wait.
Yeah, that's my part.
Knasig.
Don't you dare steal
wait.
my parts. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that was a really, really unexpected 3-0 by Corinthians there. And I believe they play with 3 champs. And they still managed a 3-0 unseen. I mean, they didn't play Jeffo though. I mean, that might have been part of the problem. But they played Arc. We could also see that he wasn't playing his best either. I mean, they just didn't have the best chemistry with him. I assume they haven't played together that much. But yeah, it was a really unexpected game, 3-0. Corinthians, though, they played really well. Even though with 3 champs, they peaked. You could think that all of them were GC players. But unfortunately, they can't have 3 GCs. But they can have 3 champs, and that's what they played. And it was just a good match to cast and watch for me, and yeah, that quite sums up that game. Just really unexpected.
Unexpected indeed. And moving on to the next one, there's another unexpected result. Carl, take it away.
Yeah, it's Team versus Complex, and it's the 3-2 specialists. You know, every game bar the first game of the season for Team has went 3-2, and two in their favour, I believe, and two against them. So they're 50-50.
3 in our favour.
Or is it three in your favour? Oh, so
Yeah.
we're the only ones to beat you then.
Yes.
Well, 3-1. Three is that's better. That's good. So it shows that they've got the ice in those game fives. But in this game, they managed to come back well because we were used 2-1 down.
We were 2-0 down.
2-0 down, yeah. So and it was a reverse sweep, and possibly the first reverse sweep in season 3 of BGCS. I'm unsure on that one, but yeah, I think it is. I can't remember anyone else, and yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it was complex. They had the return of stealth, which was good, and I think stealth, really drove them to that 2-0 lead. But Team managed to switch it up, and complex couldn't. They couldn't, adapt to the switch and play, and they eventually folded and went down 3-2, which I believe is a result that could possibly not be the best for them, which we'll discuss later.
For sure, for sure. Now, moving on to Flame Esports versus Clinical Masterminds GCI.
Yeah, I mean, what a hell of a game that was. Very, very tight games. Clinical definitely haven't been playing at their best, and I think that's one of the reasons why it was so close. I think if they was playing like they did at the start of the season, it would have been an easy 3-1. But Flame also playing very well. But it was it was a very good game overall. Um, I've really enjoyed it. Not much really to say. It was just Clinical wasn't playing at their best. That's why it was such a tight game.
Oh, one more thing to note about that is that Clinical Masterminds went up 2-0, and Flame Esports brought it back to be equal. So they were about to get the first can't think of the word. Reverse sweep, that's the one. But Clinical Masterminds, clutch as ever, do manage to get it. And now we have CK Esports against Team Dynasty, Kyle.
Yeah, well, this was a game that I really enjoyed, actually. It started off, everyone was thinking CK Esports that they would be the favourites here, I think. Team Dynasty yet to win a game. But it was Team Dynasty came out strongest and took a 1-0 lead in the series. But then Rex weekend they got warmed up and started to put the pressure on. RZ Master, I think, calmed down. It was his first game on stream, and they really looked dominant after that. It was every game was quite in their favour, I believe. And yeah, it was just a good, solid performance from CK, and I needed one to keep their hopes alive.
Well, moving on to Interstellar Esports versus Offiusa Esports. Now, this is quite an interesting one, to be honest. The Offius are taking a game off of Interstellar, which have so far the only other team that has managed to take a game off of Interstellar is Clinical Masterminds. So whether that bears any sort of fruits for Offiusa in their next two games, who knows? But Interstellar, with this game, they do clinch playoffs, the first team to do so. So that's a very important result for them. I think it was a fairly they started the game slowly, but after the first game, they got in the rhythm of things, and they just not plowed through, but they won comfortably after losing the first game. Moving on to Solaris Esports versus Broken Esports.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted Broken to get their first win. I mean, Solaris, they had nearly all their subs playing apart from one, as Deco has got a 2-week game ban. so they had to get an FA in who played absolutely unbelievable for his first games. But halfway through it, on one of the games that Broken was playing, one of their players did DC. His internet did cut out, so it left Broken in a 2v3. It was going back and forth, but Soloist did take it. But it was definitely a Broken Esports favorite game. I think a lot of people wanted them to win, to come out strong, get there uh, with their first dub. Not that it really mattered though, as they have lost every single game. Yeah, they're not getting through. Solaris, they need to win their next game, and so they have their spot. They need a Fusia to
We'll talk
lose.
about that
Yeah,
later.
we'll do that later.
Yeah. But yeah, very good game from Solaris for their subs to play and an FA.
Well, that's going to round us off for the recap on the matches. What do you all think in the Twitch chat and the YouTube comments? Let us know. What was your favorite game? And let's move on to the next category, which is the playoff clinchers. And as the name might suggest, we're looking at the teams that have made it, that haven't made it, and the teams what they need to do to make it. We'll start off with the Ballbusters conference, seeing as it's on the screen. And we'll go top to bottom. So with the unseen, I will make this more of a sort of interactive conversation rather than let's run through the situations. But starting off with the unseen, to make it, obviously they need 1 win. 5 wins is all they need to be to make it. Incredibly likely, I think this is your favorite going into the playoffs. But more interestingly, to not make it, because they can not make it, they need to lose both of their games. Not even 0-3. They could just lose both of their games 2-3. And but they need, I believe, and I could be wrong here, but Team need to win 1, Res need to win, obviously against Unseen, and Corinthians need to win. And I believe that will put them at 5th, but I could have messed something up there. That's the only one that I'm not sure about.
Yeah, it's a lot going on.
This one's
going on for, especially the unseen. You know, there's multiple. I think there's multiple outcomes that could happen, but all we've got to focus on is winning that one game, and that gets us there.
Yeah. Obviously now we're getting into the really messy stuff. With you've got 4 teams that are 3-2, so a lot of things can happen here.
Yeah.
With Corinthians and Miracle playing in the final week, that's going to determine a lot. And with Team and Miracle playing in week 6, that's also going to determine a lot. So the matches that are happening are still very important with this whole playoff situation coming in, with only the top 4 going through. If Knasig, do you want to run through the sort of situations for like some other things that you find interesting in terms of the clinches?
I mean, my team, we need to win 2 games, of course, to make it, and to 100% make it. And to not make it, we need to lose 2 games. But I have confidence in my team. I mean, we played really good the last couple of games. And for, I guess, Corinthians also a really good team. They will probably stay there on the top of the leaderboard. And Resurrection, I mean, that's a tough one. They haven't played at the top. They might not make it. I mean, that's I guess a tough one to say. And then we have Team. That's one that you might have to think a little bit about if they're gonna make it or not. But they do have a chance, and we have Lotus as well. That's gonna be the hardest one, since they're on 6 points right now. It's gonna be really tough for them to make it into playoffs. But as I said, they have a chance, but it's a small chance.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I also think, Corinthians, they have a hard running. If I can just try and find my way to show you there we go, if you can see that on stream. So who we've got is, Corinthians have 2 really tough games left to play, because even though Complex are down and out, they're still a team that like to play and like to win. And, they could easily upset Corinthians there, especially if, Mike can't make it again and they have to play 3 champs again. I don't think, it'll be as easy for them as it was against us, against other teams with their, full team GC. And then obviously they play Team Miracle, who I've always backed and believe are one of the strongest teams, in the Ballbusters conference. So that's a big sort of hill to climb for them. They could easily, I think, out of all the teams, could lose the 2 games.
Yeah.
The most.
Yeah. I mean, like, the 3-0 loss against us, I mean, that might have, set them back a bit. But, I mean, I hope they haven't, like, lost all their hope yet, because, it's not over.
Hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
who else do we have? We have
a point on Lotus is they don't just need 2 wins. They need to 3-0 res. They have to 3-0 resurrection to make it. So they have to perform more so than the rest of the teams, because of that that game difference. Sorry.
It's and I have it's going to be tough mountain to climb, but I think Lotus do have it in them. It just really depends on what clip shows up. And team, I think they're it's kind of in their hands, as to say, as if they it's the same as Miracle, just win both your games. I know it's easier said than done, but it's good when it's in your own hands and you don't have to rely on other teams beating other people. So it's just go and win your games, and that's you done it. Whereas in Team Lotus, they need to win their games, but they also need to rely on getting that fortunate 3-0 win, as it would be against Resurrection.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
Well, I did have a long look at Fearless 5 and Complex, and whilst it does look like they're technically able to make it, they can get 2 wins and will end on 9 points, but they won't be able to make playoffs purely because of the matchups that are happening, because they're all mid-table ones. And that will cause them to always be 5th at most.
Yeah, because like one of the top teams are going to win.
Yeah, because of the various things that are happening, but mostly with team, to be honest. So whichever way happens, I think Fearless 5 Complex did well to stay in it for as long as possible. There just had to be 2 teams that weren't going to make it, and they were those. So that's something to make a point on that. I believe that's going to do us for the Ballbusters side. Not much more to talk about. If we go over to the Wall Thrusters, G-Shy, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. Interstellar. They have pretty much secured their place in
No, I think
playoffs.
They have
Not pretty
guaranteed.
much. Yeah, they have. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
guaranteed.
oh, they have. Clinical, I think they need to win their next game, and then they have through. Solaris need to win their next two.
Solaris need to win one.
Solaris need to win one. Officia, not sure really.
Okay, so for clinical to not make it, because they can not make it, but a lot of things need to happen. So they need to lose both of their games 3-0 and 3-1, and CK to win both of their games 3-0, with Solaris and Officer winning their match. And I mean, this is so outlandish to happen. I can't see it happening, but it's technically possible for clinical not to make it, so I've got to put it there.
Yeah, you're needing so many different outcomes. There's at least like the right thing with in at least 5 different games, and the odds of that happening in 5 games is insane.
Mm.
And obviously with Solaris, they can also not make it. And actually, this is the most interesting thing to me. Solaris need to win one, but if you look at the 2 teams that they have to play, Interstellar, who are flawless, and Clinical Masterminds, who are in second. So
Ooh.
the 2 hardest matchups are coming right at the end for Solaris, and I'm not sure whether they're going to win either of them. So
Yeah.
this makes this outcome to not make it so much more possible in my eyes.
Yeah, I can see CK winning both their games as well, and you know,
I don't know.
I can see everything happening to make this
Yeah.
this not happening. It's not like the other one where it's, you know, insane. So, and you need, not only do you need so many, you need like some crazy like
Yeah.
results. But for Solaris, who, you know, are going to be underdogs in both games, and then CK to win their games and Orpheus to win one, I think there's a big chance of that.
You've really, I mean, I'm not putting it past my team, but you really think we can beat the flawless team, Interstellar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't lose any hope, you know. I mean,
Remember, they've got nothing to play for
yeah.
now. That, like, they're literally guaranteed.
So
They're
they
playing
might
for
like
seeding.
underestimate you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
They may like
Wait,
take it easy.
So, yeah, so if Solaris lose both their games 3-0, if I know in my
Yeah,
game,
they just lose both their games.
Yeah, they could be
Yeah.
both 3-2.
where would that put them?
Well, it would depend on other results,
Yeah.
but basically the results that matter are Solaris losing to CK winning both of your games and Orpheus are winning one, so they get pushed down to 5th.
Okay.
And then you'll be guaranteed 4th.
Yes.
And Orpheus will be guaranteed 3rd. Or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on other Orpheus game. But
Alright.
yeah, and you know, it's a shame. We'll just jump to this and get out of the way first. But Broken and Team Dynasty, that's them. You know, the only 2 that are completely mathematically. No, the other 2 were completely mathematically.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
complex out.
Yeah, so but Flame, you know, they've got tough work to do. They need to get 2 wins and then also hope OFS will lose a game 3-0 or lose both 2-3 and 1-3 at least CK. But yeah, that's another one that could be crazy. Anything could happen. I think that 4th spot is very competitive.
Yeah.
I would agree.
You know, any one of 5 teams could finish in that. Or 4. You know. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Both still plenty to play for in both divisions.
up a whole lot more interesting for Wall Thrusters than it's been throughout all of it. You know, we've seen 4 teams sort of be at the top, and they've always been at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But now with CK and Flame on 6 points, it's suddenly like Solaris could drop, and if CK get 2, which is looking, I mean, not too unlikely, suddenly things start to shift a lot. And that's what you like to see. I mean, it was always so close in Ballbusters, having, you know, last week.
And even then,
5.
sorry.
I was saying 5 people on 2 and 2, and now we've got four teams on 3 and 2. But it's just as interesting for Wall Thrusters.
Yep. And it's also like, it's not just, you know, CK don't just have to rely on Solaris. You know, they can also rely on Ophiessa, you know, losing a game. So it's not, if Solaris went out and beat, you know, whoever they play next, it's still not over for CK. Which is good. They've got sort of 2. They just need to win their 2 games, and then they've got 2 outcomes that could happen for 2 separate teams, at least. But yeah,
But it is CK. The crucial matchups are going to be in Game Week 7.
yeah.
I'm not going to speak too much on it because we do have the podcast for next week, which will speak a bit more in depth about it. But CK versus Interstellar, Flame Esports versus Ophiusa are going to be the most important matchups.
And the Wall Thrusters.
Yeah, for the Wall Thrusters, yeah. Out of all of the matches for them. So make sure you watch those because that will affect the most going into playoff contention. Now, I think that pretty much sums us up. Unless you've got any questions, any last sort of notes.
No, I think it sort of went through everyone's possibilities and outcomes pretty well there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's now move on to predictions. And let's start off with, we'll do Ballbusters first and then Wall Thrusters afterwards, with all of us going through. So, Kyle, you start us off for Ballbusters.
Right, well, yeah, I think we've got an interesting matchup, Team Lotus versus Resurrection. I think that could go either way, honestly. You know, I think Team Lotus, you know, they're just so inconsistent, you know, but if Seb and Eclipse can really show up and start making, you know, team plays and passing plays that they did in Season 2 towards the end especially, they could cause Resurrection some problems. So I'm going to go 3-2 to Team Lotus. I think that'll be a really close game, and it could be an upset on the cards there, because I think Resurrection are the favourites, but I think Team Lotus, you know, they're going to show up. They've got all to play for. You know, they're going to be hungry. Then the next game, Fearless 5 versus the Unseen. We get Jeffo back. I think we 3-0 this. I think, you know, we want to put behind what happened last week and show everyone what our, you know, full team's like, and remind people what we can do. Because I think a lot of people have forgot how good we are just because we had that one bad game with our sub. And yeah, but I think, you know, Fearless 5, I've heard that it's going to be Yerk or Jerk. I don't know how it's pronounced, but yeah, I think he's going to be playing, and I've heard good things about him, so it'll be an interesting battle. But yeah, 3-0 to the Unseen, I think. And then on to Team Miracle versus Team Team. This is one, you know, like, I think it's another game 5 for Team Team, not going to lie. Maybe a 3-1. but I think Team Miracle will win it. I think
Oh.
Knasig,
Wow.
Knasig,
Dwarf, what do you think about that?
I'll tell them what I think about it when it's my turn.
yeah,
Okay.
I think Knasig, Charlie, and JW are, yeah, if they click, they're going to be hard to beat. And I think that's the team that's playing. So, yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Team Miracle. And that leads me on to Corinthians versus Complex, which I think is another tough game. I think Complex are a good side. It's going to be hard to know how much they play with their heart, knowing that they can't make it. But I just hope that they remember that they can still make a massive difference. You know, so it's worth it, like, to stick the needle in someone's back. You know, even though you can't do it, you know, you can make or break someone's season. So I think Complex are going to win 3-2. It depends. Corinthians, if they play 3 champs again, I think, you know, they could get punished for that more than what they did against us. So that is my predictions for the Ballbusters game week 6.
Some very interesting predictions there. I'm not against any of them massively.
I like the Team Miracle Team one.
Well, I mean, yeah, other than that one, but I guess whilst we're on that topic, let's hand it over to Knasig for his predictions.
all right. I know, you know, we got Resurrection Team Lotus. I mean, looking at Resurrection and how they played the past game, it's a hard one to say, but I mean, Lotus, if they actually show up and, you know, actually play good with, like Carl said, with the passing plays and everything, I think they actually have a chance to take Resurrection in a 3-2 fashion game number 5 there. It's probably going to be an overtime if I'm getting a little bit more specific. It's going to be an intense one, I think. But Lotus, I think, definitely have a chance against Resurrection if Resurrection don't play the best they can. So yeah, I would say 3-2 to Lotus there. And Fearless 5 Unseen. I mean, that has to be a 3-0 to Unseen if Jeff was playing. Just because of the chemistry that you guys have, Kyle. I mean, it's just so good. Your chemistry is amazing. You play with each other like really good, and I mean, Phyllis 5, like the game I saw when they played against Resurrection, their consistency wasn't there, and I think you guys are a good team also to punish them on their mistakes and whiffs, and I think you guys would take this home in a 3-0 fashion. And then we have my game against Dwarf here. Miracle versus Team. I mean, I really want to go into Dwarf's head here and say 3-0 to us, but I'm going to try not to be too biased here, but I am going to go with 3-1, like you, Cal, said. Because me, you know what, I'm actually not going to say who's playing that game. I mean, if you already don't know, but I think that the of course it's going to be me and 2 other players, because Exos can't play. But I mean, me and the 2 guys, we have played really good together, and I think we're actually gonna play really good next week against you, Dwarf. And I don't think you guys stand a chance against us. But yeah, so I would say 3-1 to Miracle there. And we have Corinthians versus Complex here. I mean, Complex, I haven't really seen much of them. But, you know, just looking at the leaderboard and the stats, I think Corinthians are going to take this home in a 3-0 fashion. I mean, they kind of have to make the playoffs, I think, don't they?
Complex can't make it. Corinthians, I think they do need 2 wins, but I'm pretty sure they'll get through with 1 anyway. It's incredibly difficult for them to not make it, I think.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to go with a 3-0 there for Corinthians. To be honest, I just can't see any other way. Just like I just can't see Complex taking a game or anything, or Complex winning, since I just think Corinthians is the better team. So yeah, 3-0 to Corinthians there.
Okay. There's less interesting predictions there from
Okay,
Knasig,
okay.
especially on a certain game.
Yeah.
I won't name which.
I mean, I have to guess, it's not a hard guess, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll leave it to GCI. I need to cook for a little bit longer. I'll
Alright.
let GCI go through his Ballbusters
Why,
predictions.
mate? Why me?
Just because I need a little bit more to cook.
Oh yeah, ain't cooking nothing. So Resurrection Team Lotus. I think the way Resurrection, with the new team that has been built, I think they are looking strong. Yeah, they're definitely looking very strong. Especially with Pinchy as a free side. It's going to be very hard if he gets that ball. He goes up into the air. It's going to be very hard for him to score. Very, very hard for Lotus to save it. Sorry. Team Lotus, as long as Eclipse is playing, they definitely have a chance to win this. But I think it's going to be a 3-1 Resurrection. Moving on to Fearless 5, the Unseen. I mean, that's quite easy. Fearless 5, I don't think have much to play for. Neither does Unseen, really. But it's just going to be a 3-0 to Unseen. Team Miracle, first team. Either way, right now, I'm going to get bullied by either Dwarf or Knasig.
Say it with chest, GCI.
Yeah, say it with your full heart.
Sorry, but not sorry, Dwarf. I think Team Miracle be 3-1.
There we go.
You're just feeding me at this point. You're feeding me.
Yeah. Corinthians and Complex. I'd very much like to Complex to win. But I think as long as the Corinthians don't play 3 champs, I think they take it a 3-1.
Oh, okay. So, I've cooked. Here's
Okay.
what I've prepared for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Team Lotus Resurrection. I think Resurrection have been on a somewhat downward spiral, and I think Lotus, especially if Eclipse plays, they're gonna clutch up. With Banan and Sebs, I think they're gonna play well. I actually think Lotus are going to take this in a 3-1. A bit bold, but
Ooh.
I think Rez are a little bit sort of shaken, and I'm pretty sure Brian's going to be playing this matchup. So not the usual Lewis special. You do have to get in your sub matches, remember, if you haven't already. There are only a few teams that haven't. But with Brian playing, and with Team Lotus needing to get those 2 wins, whereas Resurrection, it's a little bit more conspicuous whether they do need to win 2. I think Lotus will take it 3-1. Now, Unseen Fearless 5, I think even though Fearless 5 don't have anything to play for, I think they'll still take a game. But that's as far as it will go.
Ooh.
I think Unseen win 3-1. I don't want to discredit Fearless 5 at all. Especially with Jake playing in. He's a new player. And I think he's going to try and make a mark. Maybe he's playing to get on a team for next season. Who knows? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Now, the really important one here. The one that matters. Team versus Team Miracle. You know the saying, if you've got one less team in your name, you're worse.
Okay, all right.
That's a well-known saying.
Never heard that before.
Well, yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Now this is obviously to anyone who's analysed the game at all. Team are obviously going to take this 3-0.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
It's not even going to be close. I think it's going to be at
Okay.
least like 5 goals
Mhm.
a game to us.
Yeah.
You know, if we had another game, 4 games, we take that one as well. If there's 5 games, we take that as well.
What about 10 games? Take 10 games as well.
10 games, yeah, no, 10 games, we
Oh,
take them
damn.
all.
Oh,
We take
10,
them all.
take every single game. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I think, you know, I think we've got the play style there. I've got you figured out. You're in my back pocket.
Yeah, you said you had a strategy there.
Yeah, I've
So,
got a strategy.
you don't want to say it though.
No, why would I
Alright.
give you any benefit? I want to end your career with this this
Oh.
series here.
Damn.
Um,
All right.
Then
Alright,
be fighting words.
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, you know me. I've got the confidence to go out there and take it to you, and I will.
I mean, I guess we just have to see on the pitch.
Yeah, we will. Well, we
Yeah.
will.
I mean, yeah, I will, but I mean, your teams will see as well, and my teams will see as well. I mean, I'm just waiting now, and till the game happens. I think everyone's waiting for us to play.
Well,
Actually.
yeah. Now that we've hyped it up this much.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a
I
big
feel like
game.
everyone's. Yeah, it's actually a big game
It is a big game. It is probably the marquee matchup for
for him.
Ballbusters.
Yeah.
That affects the most. What could also be affected is Corinthians and Complex. Now, I think Corinthians are coming off of a very nice win. They're going to enjoy that a lot. But I have faith in Complex. And this isn't just me being biased, because it would be good for if Complex won this. I genuinely think, and I believe in Stealthling to win it. I think it would be close. I think it's a 3-2 to Complex. But I think the playstyle that Stealthling brings, being so solid at back, being able to break down rotations, he will capitalize on those holes that Corinthians leave. And they will leave them. So if he's there, he's fast, he takes a shot, he doesn't need anything too mechanical. He will slowly break that team down and take the win. So yeah, I've got faith in Complex for that one.
Yeah, that's a bold prediction there from you.
Wow, I do bold very well.
I mean, I think every one of us said 3-0 about you to Corinthians. So I guess there's a lot of pressure here on Complex to play
yeah,
well.
they don't have any pressure on them since they're already out.
Yeah, I mean, just that
So-
they have to play well, you know.
I think it would be nice for them to get a win there.
Yeah, true. Against
Okay.
Corinthians
One
as
for the
well.
road.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, let's move over to the Wall Thrusters Conference. Kyle, if you take us away with this one.
Yeah, so the Wolf Thrusters, I think, there's some, nice matches there. But the top one, Team Dynasty versus Flame Esports, I think that's a fairly easy, no offence to the Team Dynasty players. I feel that, Flame will just take control of that game and win it easily 3-0. Clinical Masterminds and Ophiusa Esports, that could be very tight. Clinical, haven't been the last 2 games haven't been the most, convincing wins. They got beat one of them and then only just scraping past a game 5 last week. Whereas an Ophiosa really need the win. But I think Clinical will come back strong and they'll win 3-1. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ophiosa can set in an upset here. On to CK versus Broken. I think that's again I think CK, depending on what teams play. No, I think both teams, from any team that CK can field will, unfortunately beat Broken. They're probably heads are down, they can't make it. I think that'll just be an easy 3-0 for CK. And then
But-
what
Go
was
on.
that?
But they do still have a chance to ruin my hopes and dreams of getting into playoffs.
Yeah,
You do need to win both.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they'll care much about that, mate. I think you win that easy 3-0.
Yeah.
And
Well, I hope
then,
so.
and then on to Interstellar Esports versus Solaris Esports. That's a big game, a very big game. A must win, I think, for Solaris. I think if they lose this game, it puts so much pressure on the last game. But Interstellar, you know, this is the time to beat them. Interstellar already through, might take their feet off the gas. And yeah, I'm going to go for Solaris winning this one 3-2. I think they could squeak through and, you know, just catch Interstellar while they're at a, you know, lethargic stage.
see that happening.
And that
You'd
was
have
my
them clinching
prediction.
then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's too outrageous to say, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
a lot of those predictions make a lot of sense. I don't think I'd go too dissimilar. That Knasig, it's time for you to again blaspheme and probably come out with some really, really wrong predictions.
I mean, yeah, you know, I haven't really looked at that many games of War Thrusters. I've been more focused on my own conference. You know, because that, you know, I have to be that. You have to be more focused on my own conference because that's the one I'm playing. And but I've actually now, because I'm thinking about it, and I've actually watched a couple of games in War Thrusters, but I mean they're a couple of weeks ago, so I might not remember like fully on how it went. But you know what? Let's just go into the predictions and see here. Team Dynasty Flame. I mean, just purely looking at the leaderboard and the stats, I mean, I just think that Flame would just take this home. I would say 3-0 fashion here. Then we have Clinical Masterminds and how is that? Officia Esports. I mean, that's also a very important game for Officia, isn't it? If they want to make playoffs. And Clinical as well, actually, because they haven't either guaranteed playoffs here. So it's gonna be a tough one there. I would have to say, 3-2 to Clinical here. And then we have CK and Broken Esports, and I don't know, you know, just to hype up GCI, I would say 3-0 to them.
Let's go.
I just see them coming up with a 3-0 fashion there. And Interstellar Esports and Solaris, as Cal said, this is a very intense matchup here, and I would say that yeah, Interstellar has nothing to play for. I mean, maybe they will just relax and just, I don't know, lay back, not take this so seriously, the game, you know, because they're already in the playoffs here. But so yeah, I actually see Solaris also taking this in. I would say a 3-1 fashion here. So yeah, that's my predictions for the War Thrusters. Like, I don't know if I'm completely out of the blue there, if I'm completely wrong, but I mean, that's my predictions. So
I think they're very similar to what Carl said, to be honest.
I think they were identical.
Yeah.
we're identical.
I think they were identical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Guess I'm just a good predictor, I guess.
We always like someone who copies the homework of the person to the side of them.
Yeah, of course.
In this case, it's Knasig.
Yeah. You know, you gotta make it the easy way, you know.
Well, GCI, time for you to copy off of the copier.
Right. So basically, yeah. Team Dynasty, Flame. Flame is definitely possible for them to get playoffs, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't see it happening. But anything is possible. Team Dynasty, they can't get it, but they could destroy Flame Esports dreams on getting it. So I'm gonna go for a bold move and say Team Dynasty, 3-2.
I've just about fell off my chair.
Oh no. um, Clinical Masterminds versus Mafiosa Esports. I mean, I, I hope Clinical Masterminds win, because that's better for CK. But it's going to be a tight match. From how Clinical are playing at the minute, they're not they're not playing very well. Although they're winning, they're definitely not playing up to how they can play and how they played in the first 1 or 2 weeks of BGCS. But I'm gonna say 3-2 Clinical Masterminds. My team, CK Sports, obviously, 3-0. I think I want to play, but I think it's better for the team if Rex plays, just so we can 100% secure that dub, and getting closer to getting playoffs. So yeah, 3-0 CK. Interstellar Esports, Solaris Esports. I'm gonna say it's not gonna be hard for Interstellar. I think it's an easy 3-0 for them. And even then, they still have nothing to play for because they've already secured playoffs. So if they win, that's just them showing off. But if they lose, I mean, this is good for Solaris but bad for CK. But yeah, 3-0 Interstellar.
Yeah, I think the only thing that, Interstellar, if they really care about getting first, if they really
Seeding.
care for seeding and getting first, they will try their hardest. But it's whether they care or not about seeding. Is what my thing. A lot of people, they get to this stage where they're safe and they just go, "Oh, we're safe. We can chill out," and they don't really think about seeding. So I just hope they have that in their heads.
Well, if they're not watching this, then and they probably don't have it in their heads at all. Obviously, if you finish first in your conference, then you play the fourth of the other conference in the playoffs. That can be important because of the level difference between first and fourth of each conference being different. Less so in Ballbusters because I think there are quite a few teams that are on that sort of upper echelon. But especially for the Wolfrusters conference, you've got that top two, and then past that you've got to fight for the next three. I think for the top four. So yeah, now it's my turn to blaspheme. Saying that, I'm gonna go boring for the Flame Esports Dynasty match. I'm gonna go 3-1 to Flame. I think they've shown quite a few holes. I think Dynasty can come out of the gates fairly hot, so I think Dynasty will take the first game and then Flame will take the rest. Once they've figured out the playstyle, gotten into the groove of things. Yeah, I think that's going to be a fairly straightforward win for Flame. What isn't a fairly straightforward win for either team is Clinical Masterminds and Officer. For me, I think Reptic, he's going to have his head screwed on for this one. I think he's going to be like, right, okay, we need this just to clinch. Past that, I don't think he really cares how his league play goes. But he just wants to win this one. And Officer have had a tumultuous sort of season. They've lost games they probably shouldn't have, and they've won games that they maybe shouldn't have as well. And I think I'm gonna have to say Clinical 3-1 purely because I don't know what team Officer are gonna bring. I think Next Fox, whilst being a great player, is not the best in this format. I think RBZ. It's been a while since we've seen him play, but I think they're just not going to match the speed that Clinical have. I think that's what's gonna do them in. For CK Esports against Broken Esports, I'm gonna have to go with the crowd on this one. CK Esports 3-1. I think
Well-
Broken have the ability to take a game, but especially if Rex and Feelings are playing for CK, I can't see that going any other way for them, and it plays into the storyline for them going down. What was it, 0-3, and then coming back and winning 2, and if they win this 3. So they could reverse sweep the league play to make playoffs. That'd be quite the storyline for them. Into the last most important game for Wall Thrusters this week, Interstellar Solaris. I get your points with Interstellar. Maybe not performing as well because they know they're making it. But Solaris hasn't shown me anything that makes me believe that they're going to take a game. Well, they probably take a game, but not much more from Interstellar. I think Pups is something special. He just finds goals out of thin air. He just comes in, scores. Don't know where he came from. Don't know how much boost he's got. Doesn't matter. It's in their net. Whereas Solaris, I think 50 has a decent build-up play, but with pre-jumps, with early challenges, they get snuffed out fairly easy, and the pressure goes back on themselves. It's going to be a fairly sort of easy win for Interstellar in a 3-1 fashion. So yeah, that's going to be it for predictions. Let us know what you think. Make sure you let us know in either the Discord, YouTube comments, in the Twitch chat right now.
Yeah, I would have to say one more thing. Apparently, it's gonna be Tornado playing
Really?
instead of Jerk. Yeah, because apparently Jerk is on vacation. So
That would do it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good
So
to see Tornado, not because he was going to step back into the sub role, I think, for the last 2 games. But it's good to see him stepping up to play when his team needs him.
Yeah, I mean Tornado's a great player, to be honest. I know I watched them play against Resurrection, even though they lost 3-1, and I would say that the consistency wasn't good, but Tornado was, the player that stood out the most in Fearless 5, and I've said that multiple times when I casted the game as well. That Tornado, he was just outstanding during the series.
I've always been a big fan of Tornado, even back in Season 2 when he came on and... Season 1, sorry. And he came in and he was champ and he was classed as a champ. I always thought, nah, this guy's better than champ. He's going to be GC, very soon. And yeah, I think, 3 games in to his BGCS career, he hit GC, but the lockers were, the ranks were locked, and but yeah, so yeah, Tornado's always been one of my favourites to watch.
Yeah, I mean he's so he's also a fast player, and he's always there when especially on defense when his team needs him there back. As third man, he's there, and he's also there on offense. And I mean he's such a good that third player on the team, the third player that you really want. I mean he's just a great player, to be honest.
But yeah, I think
Oh, yeah.
that's the end of the game week 6 roundup.
Yeah.
And predictions.
Yeah, let's move swiftly on to Team of the Week, everyone's favourite part of the podcast. And
Yes, sir.
I think starting us off, let's go with GCI. What have you got to say? Who are you picking
mate?
for your... Well, I mean...
Why not?
I've just plucked the name out of thin air here, lads. I've just randomly chosen someone, and it's you.
Sorry, but did Dwarf just call me blood?
Yeah, he did.
He's bugging. Man's bugging. That's something I've never heard you say, but I'm confused on what you. Yeah. Anyway, so for my, do you want me to do champs or GCs first?
Whatever you want.
Right, so for GCs, I think it's a clear one for me.
Well, it's just one
Um,
GC, remember?
But
Yeah,
yeah,
one
yeah.
GC.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for my one GC, it's quite clear for me. Is Paps. He is unbelievable. Me and Dwarf casted a game this week, and he was popping off. His consistency is so good. He is an all-round really good player, and I think if Interstellar didn't have them, I don't think there would be a team. Um, well, a team that is as good as they are, but I am picking him for my GC. For
You maybe say the name of the player?
Paps,
Oh, Peps. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
BXPS.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't hear you say the name. Okay. Okay, so Peps.
uh, yeah, yeah. One of my champs is Cryptic. Um, I think he has played very well in his past couple games. Um, especially this week's game. Uh, Hitting a flit reset, hitting some absolute bangers, being really consistent, which is unlike him. Uh, but yeah, I think he's played very well, and I'm choosing him for one of my champs. And for my last champ, um, I think I'm gonna. I picked Trixer. Oh, um,
I thought I messaged.
right.
Is the 10 o'clock news saying that this is crap picks? Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
just trying to be
I
funny.
mean,
It didn't work.
no, I have to agree. I have to agree on that one.
So
Um,
Paps, Cryptic, and Trickster, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, that's very reasonable to be fair. Knasig, let's go to you next.
Me. All right, all right. I'll start off with the champs then. We got JW, my guy. He's just such a great player. He's so fun to play with. I can trust him. During the game, especially like on defense or when I'm not there. I don't have to be scared when he's alone with the ball because I believe in him and I know how good he is. And yeah, Pinchy as well when he played in the Resurrection game. I mean, he was just outstanding. He's a freestyler as well, so he's really mechanical. As we saw in the game, he just I don't know showed off the mechanics like he does it on a daily basis. And I guess he does because he is a freestyler. And he did a reset double tap in the game, and I was just blown away. And for the GC, it's probably the best player in BGCS. Beats everyone in a 1v1. It's
Me?
2.7k MMR in every game mode. um,
I said him.
and the best Swedish player ever to be in BGCS or in Rocket League, even better than Turbo Pulsar. Because he's the 5-time world champion. You know,
Bold
Knasig.
claims.
Myself. I have to pick
Oh,
myself. I'm picking myself for the GC. I
you're
just have
mad.
to.
Are you just
Nah,
going for all of Team Miracle here? Please pick.
He's just picking one of those. This team of the
No,
week.
no, Pinch. I put Pinch from when he played in Resurrection, and we got JW. I mean, it might look like it might be a bit biased. I don't know for you guys, but for me, I just purely pick because of the players that I've seen and the players that I actually think that are generally good. Like I said, JW is really good and he's consistent as well, and Pinchy is just mechanical and also good at the game, and I'm just better. I'm him. So I
I
have to
mean,
pick myself, of course.
I think in the whole of BGS doing the podcast, I think that is the first time someone has said themselves.
It's not.
I
Kyle
don't
said
think
himself
so.
last season.
Yeah, I have said myself, and I think Bale said
Ah,
himself when he was a guest.
ah, ah, ah.
Well, I'll pick myself. The 5-time world champion. So
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, that's my team of the week.
Okay, that's a very interesting one for me.
Yeah.
I'll go next. And for me, I'm gonna have a very similar one to GCI. I have Pats as the GC. It's hard not to, especially
Mm.
with the stats. Um, You know, with him coming in, I think 11 goals.
22 goals actually.
No, this game week.
Yeah, just this
Oh,
game week. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
11 goals this game week. I'm showing it on screen right now.
Yeah. Whilst also providing for his team with 4 assists and 4 saves. Uh, they're not a team that has to play defense a lot, but when they do, they get the crucial saves in. And I think perhaps he's played well every week, but especially this last week, he's popped off. And for the champs, I'm gonna go with Cryptic. He's incredible. He's got a hat trick in one of the games. Whilst they did go down 2 games, once I said my piece, let them to it, they popped off. Especially Cryptic. I think he contributed so much in terms of breaking down plays, not just scoring goals. You know, with the ball oftentimes falling to him after aspect chases, after serenity chases, the ball falls to him. He just gets a shot off. He doesn't waste too much time with it. So yeah, I have to big my team up there. He played phenomenally. And for my other champ, I've got Banan.
Ooh.
I was
So
close to picking him.
yeah, I think although I don't think the stats came through as much for him. Yeah, well, actually, I say that he's scored 5 goals, 1
No,
assist, and
no,
4
sorry, I've not done his one.
Oh no, yeah,
So
that's
that's 5
game
there.
week 4. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the stats haven't been done yet, but I think Banan's played amazingly.
He's
I,
Swedish
I
though, you know.
he is Swedish, the best, honestly, the better Swedish in the league, to be honest.
Okay, now we have to, calm down, man. No, but he's better than me, to be honest. I mean, I was scared when I played against him, to be honest.
Yeah, he's won 6 RCSs. You've only won 5. You need to get on his
Yeah.
level.
I know. I'm trying. I'm grinding every day out here, trying to get on this level, but it's so hard.
Yeah,
But Banan is a great player.
Banan, yeah, he's up there for me. I don't think he gets too much individual like goals or assists or saves or anything like that, but just his midfield presence and his ability to slow down the play when it needs to be and get the ball to his teammates is, to be honest, his game sense is almost unparalleled. There are very few other champs that are able to force the play in the way that he does.
Yeah.
For a few other names, you got Panic, even Kyle, and I say even Kyle, especially Kyle.
Even Kyle.
But you know what I mean? There are very few champs out there that can really make a difference, and I think Banan is one of them, and he flies under the radar too often. So I'd like to shout him out for that one.
Yeah, he's such a good team player.
Mm.
I would
Now,
agree on there.
hand it over to Kyle to finish us off for this segment.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to go against the grain here. I'm picking 3 separate players, I believe. So for my GC, I am going to go for Minty Fiend. I think even though they didn't win, to even come close, and it was very close, to reverse sweeping Clinical, the defending champions, is unreal. And you just see it there. 6 goals, 1 assist, and 15 saves is a tremendous shift to put in. So that's why I'm picking Minty. Paps was going to probably be my pick until I was going through the stats and then remembering, the if, buts, and maybes of Minty and Flame Esports. So yeah, that's going to be my GC. And then for my champs, I'm going to give love to Jonah. I think Jonah's had, not the best couple of weeks, the last couple of weeks. But I really think he pulled through this week, getting 5 goals, 5 assists and 4 saves. I think is, Trickster, with the 7 goals, 3 and 1. But I just think all-round play. You know, Jonah offered more. He was there to save, there to assist, there to score. You know, all being even near enough. So I'm going to go for Jonah. And then my other one is a player that played against me, Ferentinos, or aka Clutch King. I think he stepped up that game. I think it was close between him and Lupe, but he really stepped up and played like the GC that they were missing. You know, he was there to save everything. You know, he was cutting out all pressure and all passing plays that we were trying. And I think, yeah, he really stepped up, you know, considering playing on a team of 3 champs. He stepped up to that plate that they needed one of their players, and they were all capable of doing it. And they all really did step up, but he was the shining light for me. So that is my 3 players for Team of the Week.
Interesting. Well, there is a majority on 2 players, so I don't know how that would work unless Kyle and Knasig were massively against having Cryptic and Paps in.
No, I don't mind.
As I say, I don't mind. Paps, you know, was right up there as one of my picks. You know, until going through and doing those stats, like he was late change, so I wouldn't be against that at all.
Okay.
I genuinely am against the majority, which is Paps, Cryptic, and who is the second?
We didn't have a majority on the other one. We all voted different
Oh.
people.
You know, we have to take a banana. You know, we need a Swedish guy.
No, I mean, we normally do a poll.
Yeah,
well,
we can
we
put
can
it
do
to
a
chat.
poll if there's enough activity in the chat for the poll to make it.
I believe.
I think there is. So, if are you able to set up a poll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we make a poll on all the players or
And
just
who-
one of the champ?
No, I think it's just the one
It's-
champ. I think
yeah,
the
it's
majority
Okay.
rules.
So it's Banan, Ferentinos, and
JW, that's what I said. Or
And
Pinchy.
Jonah as well.
Pinchy and Jonah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's
Put in
five,
JW as well.
five,
You know, I need
five
my
on one.
guy.
Well, so Banan,
Yeah, so Banan's one,
Jonah,
Jonah, Pinchy,
Ferentinos, Pinchy, yeah.
Pinchy,
and
Ferentinos.
Ferin. I would just do Clutch King because I don't know how to spell that.
Yeah, do Clutch King.
Clutch.
This is-
King.
That's how we do it.
Is that it?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Get your votes in, everyone. For
Probably gonna be
we've already done
Banan.
this.
Probably gonna be banana, to be honest. Oh wait, you can
Yeah,
vote
King
again
out.
with the channel points. With 20 channel points. I mean, I guess just vote once.
Just
So
vote
it's
once, it's
so it's
fine.
fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
just one vote.
We have 8 votes already, 9 votes on banana. Jonah as well up there.
I think people
There's-
are.
Yeah,
not-
people are
people
using channel points.
Why
I mean,
did you
I
have
think,
to point it out?
I mean, to be honest, I think this already.
But I think Banan's won it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Banan
I
has
think they
won
want banana. They want banana. They want banana. I think that's how we're gonna play it out. Yeah, they for sure want banana.
Are we getting 60 votes with 16 people in the?
Wait, now Jonah's getting some love as well.
What? I think it.
It's
The
'cause
zero
you
on
can just
Pinchy,
keep
though.
spamming it. Why have they done
Giving
this?
it to Banan.
I don't know.
We're
Yeah,
giving it
I
to
think-
Banan.
I
Yeah,
think
give it to
Banana.
banana. Whoever reaches 100 first. Whoever reaches 100 first. Yeah,
Yeah,
banana
Oh,
reaches 100.
Banan.
Yep, that's banana.
That's that one
Banana.
quickly.
Yeah. You know, my guy Banan, the Swedish. You know, I'm just so happy to see a fellow Swedish guy in the team of the week. I'm proud of you, Banan. I love you.
Oh, I also love Banan.
So there's your team of the week. If you want to just say that again.
Yeah, so we've got Paps as the GC. We've got Banan and Cryptic as your champs. That's your team of the week. There'll be a
Congratulations.
graphic made at some point in time. We'll post it on the Discord, congratulating the players. I don't know if we've got any honourable mentions, whether we put Jonah, Pinchy, Clutch King.
I definitely think Minty has to be given
Minty, yeah.
an honourable mention there, because like to do that against the one of the best teams in the league, and nearly get the reverse sweep is unbelievable in my opinion. 15 saves, 6 goals. Yeah, it's only 1 assist, but the other 2 together that's a 22 contribution over 5 games. I think that's unreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Who was the other GC that was mentioned? Oh yeah, Knasig.
Why is it?
Yeah,
You should have
Knasig
put it me there. If I'm honest. I'm just kidding.
Knasig, you put in a shift, you know, but I think
I think
you
the only
played a
reason
team
why-
that you were expected to beat
Yeah.
and dominate anyway.
I mean, if it was a better team, like on the scene or something like that, then I don't know. Might have not played as good, might have played better, might have played the same, and I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope I play better. I hope I actually perform good in the playoffs. I think I will. I
If you
perform
make
well
it.
under pressure.
If you
I mean,
make it.
I really believe that we make
if you
it. I
make
really
it,
think.
yeah.
I believe you
You
make
can't
it
I
as
mean,
well, but there's
It's
always
gonna be
that
it's gonna be easy win next week. So it's gonna be a
Well,
3-0
we'll
next
see.
week.
You'll see. You'll see.
Should I announce when we're playing? So that
Yeah,
everyone
well,
can see.
well, yeah, I can take a wee shout through the already confirmed games,
Okay.
Yeah,
if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm done. Why not? I mean,
we've got
you know,
time, so yeah. We'll
I
I mean,
can't
I guess
show
I
it,
guess
but
I guess the people don't want to miss our game. So
Hmm.
that's probably one of the most important ones in the Ballbusters.
Probably the most.
Yeah, I think that's the most important one
I think
because
we
like
should be showing
the,
it now.
Or
like the
the
top 5
Corinthians
teams.
Complex.
So we only
Yeah,
have
that one as
four.
well.
We have 4 games, so everyone make sure, you know, that hasn't already arranged their game, you know, to get it arranged. But on the next game, as of now, you can expect is Clinical Masterminds versus Orpheus on Monday. And then on Tuesday, that's at 9 p.m. BST. All times are BST. And then on Tuesday, you've got Interstellar Esports versus Solaris. Then on Thursday, you've got CK Esports versus Broken Esports at 7. And at 8, you have Team, the all important game. Don't miss it. Thursday at 8 p.m. It's Team versus Team Miracle.
We have to put that in the announcements, you know, because everybody has to know that we're playing. That has to be out in the announcements. No one can miss it. I want 100 people in the stream watching the stream where we play.
I
Otherwise,
want
I'm gonna be
600. I
sad.
want the whole server. Even
Yeah,
if
the
you're
whole server,
inactive.
everybody's watching it. I don't care. I'm gonna put it everywhere. Everyone's gonna watch that game. Don't even care. If someone misses it, I'm gonna be mad at that person. I'm blocking them. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna block them, but just make sure to be there. 8 p.m. BST on Thursday next week.
That's not to outshine all the other teams, but we are
Yeah.
making an emphasis on the more important matchups. Genuinely, the more like this will affect more things.
It's the more interesting matchups because there's
Yeah.
more storylines and more things that could happen depending on the results. Obviously, you know, the teams that have games to clinch are massive games as well. You know, for Unseen, Fearless 5, that is a big game in itself, you know, to clinch, but it's just not really a storyline. You know, if they get it, that's it. There's just one storyline. I think it is the biggest game this week by far. There's so many different twists and turns depending on the results, and I think it even can come down to game results. You know, whether it's a 3-1, a 3-2, a 3-0 could really help or hinder the team.
Right, for sure does. And that is going to be it for this podcast, the BGCS show. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to join the Discord, subscribe to the YouTube, follow the Twitch, all of that. Make sure you follow the second Twitch for whenever we use that next. And
Yes, sir.
thank you, everyone, GCI, Knasig, Kyle, for joining me on this one. And thank you, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, thank
Right,
you, everybody.
We'll see you on Monday for the first
Later.
match.
Hope you have a great night. See you in a bit.
Goodbye.
Bye.